He grabbed my ID. This cop grabbed my ID out of my car.
Oh, what the car? What are you doing?
You're a captain.
No,
You should
it's
know
not.
these things,
I am
ma'am.
a captain, and just because you're talking all this gobbledygook BS, frankly.
Police officers are paid to enforce the law, but sometimes dumb cops make foolish decisions that lead to disastrous consequences. Today, we'll be going through some cases where idiot cops failed at their job. A pair of LAPD officers were chasing a suspect when one of them made one of the biggest blunders you'll ever see from a cop.
Oh my God. Is that him? Oh my God. Oh, what the car? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God, you left the car in reverse. Oh my God.
Instead of chasing the suspect, this guy tried to chase his car after forgetting to put it in park. This cop had a tough day at work, but this next captain downright failed at her job.
You're a captain.
No,
You should
it's
know
not.
these things,
I am
ma'am.
a captain, and just because you're talking all this gobbledygook BS, frankly.
In November 20th, 21, First Amendment auditor Sean Paul Reyes decided to conduct an audit at the City Hall in Binghamton, New York. Moments into the audit, he was confronted by a police captain who decided to have a go at him.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you, ma'am?
Good. What's your name?
Excuse me, who are you?
I am Captain Sutliff from the police department. What's your name?
Captain what?
Sutliff, I told you.
Captain
Yes.
Sutliff.
Yes.
Okay, why are you?
I got a complaint that you're harassing people up here.
That's not true at all. I'm just.
Well, did you have a discussion with a guy down in engineering or code?
Yeah, he told me he wouldn't give me his name, and I said, "You're a
But did
public."
you have any business with him? Or did
I
you
would-
just argue with him?
Ma'am, don't.
It's a simple question.
Yeah, don't act like you know what's going on when you don't.
Well,
you weren't
because you
there.
already told me, so I'm asking you to verify.
Yeah, well, I had a discussion with a public servant, correct?
Okay, and did you have any legitimate business in there?
Yeah, I'm an independent journalist gathering content for a story.
That's not legitimate business,
According to who?
according to me. Did you have business
You
with
don't,
that person?
respectfully, ma'am, you don't tell me what my business is. That's
That's
lawful
not what
business.
I'm saying. I'm saying if you have business in here with that person, then go ahead and
He
have
came out to talk to
conversation.
me. I didn't talk to him.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Sure you can. I
If you
told
want to walk through a public building, that's okay. But with you standing here and filming people's faces, that's bothering
that's
them,
still
harassing
okay.
them,
That's still
and
okay.
upsetting them.
That's still okay because it's public.
Not
and
if you're just sitting there doing that to them. It's not. Okay?
that's not what I'm
If you're
doing.
going through the building,
Do you have evidence or
legitimate-
do you have evidence or proof that
Can
I'm
you
doing
stop
that, ma'am?
interrupting me?
Ma'am, I don't even know.
I'm telling you.
I don't
This
know-
is a public building and
I
you
know
can come
that.
do business.
And I'm
okay?
I'm
That's
conducting
not-
business,
that's not
constitutionally
city
protected business. It's constitutionally protected
Did
business,
you walk
ma'am.
through these halls already?
Ma'am, it's constantly
Then
protected
you're okay.
business.
Imagine the audacity of this police captain, who considers her word the final one. I wonder if these officers even try to read the Constitution before getting to this level of entitlement.
I
It's not.
did not make any contact
Listen.
with the engineer, with whoever you just spoke to. I didn't make any contact with
You
him.
had conversation with him.
He came out to speak to me from his office. That has
You were
nothing to
in
do.
his office.
No, I was not. I was not
When
in
I
his.
came up here 5 minutes ago, you were not in the hallway. You were in his office.
I wasn't in his private office. I was in the public lobby
not
of an
private
office.
office,
Yeah,
his
a public
work office.
a public lobby of an office.
You're correct. It's a public office. But
Correct.
if you don't have business in there, they can ask you to leave.
Ma'am.
You don't have legitimate business in
Yes,
there.
I did. You're
already
saying that
walked
my
through and took
you're
your
saying that my
videos.
business isn't legitimate, but that doesn't
It's
make it
not.
so. That doesn't
not.
make it so, ma'am.
Just
You're
like,
wrong.
Just
You're
like
wrong.
if you go in the clerk's office and you don't have legitimate business with them, they'll ask you to leave.
I do have legitimate business. You're wrong.
Going
That's-
around taping people up to their face
No,
is not legitimate business here.
That's not what I'm doing.
I
That's
just
not what I'm
watched
doing.
you taping these poor secretaries.
Poor
Why?
secretaries? They're public servants. I was looking at the mayor's office. I've
But
never
what
seen
are
them.
you going to do with,
I
their,
have-
with their private faces? You can't release that.
Yes, I can. There,
No, you can't.
There is no privacy. There is no expectation of privacy in public, ma'am.
No, you can't.
Yes, I am, because I'm an independent
No, you
journalist.
can't.
I'm news media,
Okay,
ma'am.
so the point being, you've already gone through and done your work.
Okay.
So if you don't have legitimate business here, then leave.
I do have legitimate. I told you I have constitutionally protected business
Okay,
here.
what business do you have with the mayor's office?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I have business
You
with
were just
anybody.
taking them. What business do you have with the mayor's office?
Ma'am, I gather
Answer
content.
the question.
I'm trying to if you let
You're
me
not.
speak.
You're
if you,
talking in circles.
If you let me speak.
The captain was acting like a true Karen, legally clueless and downright rude to the auditor, who was about to put her in her place.
I saw their office.
That's talk, okay?
How is that
Do you have
talk?
an appointment with them?
I don't need
Do you
an
have
appointment.
something-
This is a
Yes,
public
you do.
building.
You do.
This is a public building. This is the people's building. This doesn't belong
you
to
need
the
an
mayor.
appointment to speak to them.
This belongs to the constituents and the people, ma'am.
Okay,
I'm not being
so
disrespectful
talk.
to anybody.
Okay. Public servants.
You're coming
still
over
have
here
to
trying.
conduct
You're coming over here
business.
trying to intimidate me, and it's not
I'm
going
not
to work.
trying to intimidate you.
It's not going to work. I'm very respectful
Listen
to everybody
me.
I come in
Listen
contact
to
with,
me.
and I ask
You're
the
interrupting
same.
their business.
No, I'm not.
You went through. You took your.
I'm not
your
interrupting
pictures,
anybody's
whatever,
business. I'm
so you
I'm
can be
working on
done.
a story on City Hall. You don't tell me when I'm done, ma'am.
Yes, I can. Because now they can't get their work done
I would
because
want
they're
because
upset.
because they're upset. What
They're
what
upset and
what
harassed.
law is that, Captain? Upset.
What did I?
Are you feelings police or law
It's
enforcement?
not. Listen, you're interrupting their
I'm
work.
not breaking any laws.
That's the problem. If you're interrupting their work,
He came
and
out of
have no
his
legitimate
office.
business,
He came out of his office to make contact with me.
You were in his office. I saw you.
I was in the lobby of his office, and he
It's
came
not
out of
the lobby
his
of his office. It's his office.
The whole thing is his office.
It's their office. Absolutely.
This tyrant showed no signs of being a police captain. It's disheartening to think that officers like her, clueless about the law, are being promoted within our forces.
I have business here. I'm told you, I'm
don't
working
have
on a
business.
story.
You
Ma'am,
already
you don't
did
tell
your
me.
videotaping.
You can't tell me what my business is, and if you'd like,
I
you
can.
can. So go ahead and do it. Order
I
me.
already did.
Order me to leave.
I just told you to many times.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
You said no. You never ordered me to leave, and you know there's
I
a
did.
difference.
I
No, you
said
did
if
not.
you're done, you can leave. Which
You
you
can.
already took all your pictures.
You can leave is different from you must
I'm
leave.
not getting
ma'am.
in this conversation.
Because you don't want a civil suit. Because I will
There
sue
is
you.
no civil suit.
You better
There
believe I
isn't.
would sue you, ma'am. If you violate my constitutional rights,
Listen.
you will lose qualified immunity because you're captain. You should know.
Nobody-
You
no.
should know better. You should know better than
I know
this.
much better than you do.
You should
Trust
know
me.
better then.
Okay.
You should
You
know
are
better.
allowed
I'm being
to
very
come in-
respectful with everybody
you
I come
are
in
allowed to
contact
come
with,
in and do
ma'am.
your thing. You've done it. You
Is
can't
there-
have all day to be in here. You
Why
have
not?
to have
Why
legitimate
wouldn't?
business
Why?
to be in here.
Why wouldn't I have all
Because
day to
it's
be in
not-
here?
It's not a community hangout office.
This is not. I'm
okay?
working on a story. I'm a journalist working on a story.
You're interrupting people's work. You've already got your video.
That's not
you
true.
You can leave now.
That's not true.
Absolutely.
That's not true. I have legitimate.
absolutely
I have legitimate
true.
First Amendment business here. I have freedom of press. This is a public building. I'm not bothering anybody. I don't even want to talk to
You've already
anybody.
been through all the public areas.
That's not true.
Why is that not true?
And plus, it doesn't matter.
Well, no, why
I'm
is
disseminating.
that not
I'm
true?
disseminating information to the public, ma'am. I
Why
can
is
take
that-
pictures of City
See,
Hall
you're
all
not even
day.
answering the question.
I can take pictures of
Okay.
City Hall all day, ma'am.
You've already been in the public areas.
You
These
can't
are
tell me to
business
leave.
areas.
You can't tell me to leave from public without. I'm not committing a crime.
I can.
And the contrary.
You're interrupting business.
No, I'm
I
not.
can.
But I'm not. Go ahead and
You
do
are.
it. Do it, and
You
then
are.
you'll see the consequences of it in
You
civil
are.
court.
It really baffles me how these law enforcement officers and public officials are afraid of the camera. This Karen kept arguing, and her entitlement was about to reach a whole new level.
Did you finish your floors?
Ma'am, I don't
Because I'm
want
told you did. Maybe
Okay.
you did, maybe you didn't, but that's
Okay.
what I'm told.
It doesn't matter, ma'am. Look,
It does matter.
What you're doing right now, do you see the people behind you who are just sitting watching this spectacle? You're stopping people from conducting business, ma'am.
Not at
There's
all.
people behind you just
Not
sitting
at
there
all.
watching.
And I've gotten multiple
I would've-
complaints already. That
it
you're
doesn't
taking
matter
pictures
about
of
the
their
complaints.
faces and their desks, which contain personal information.
There is no expectation of privacy in public, ma'am. You should know that as
There
captain.
is for certain things. There
No, there is not.
absolutely is.
No, there is not. They're in
There
public.
absolutely is.
This
because
is a public
people
building.
have personal documents with people's information that you're not privy to.
And I'm not going into anybody's personal office. I'm
It's a
allowed to
business
be
office. Same idea.
It's a building
paperwork
permits
or
office.
People's names and stuff are in these offices.
You're not making any
allowed
sense.
to copy any of that. You're not allowed to film any of that.
there. Yeah, that's
You
not true.
filmed going through the office, the public area.
It's their job.
Great.
It's their job to create the privacy,
Great.
ma'am, in public. They have to
Okay.
create the privacy. You're a captain.
No,
You should
it's
know
not.
these things,
I am
ma'am.
a captain, and just because you're talking all this gobbledygook BS, frankly,
No, it's not.
does not change
This-
the law and does not change our job.
What law am I breaking? Can you articulate it to me?
Where else do you need to go?
Can you articulate the law that I'm breaking?
Where else do you need to go?
Because you know there is not one.
Where else do
I would
you
like
need
to continue
go?
about my business and not be molested
What
by
is your
you.
business?
Sean wouldn't back down as he kept forcing the truth. As an experienced auditor, he knows how to handle these tyrants and eventually force the officer to retreat.
So
You are
think
harassing
someone's
me.
face like this that
You
you
are-
have no legitimate business with.
I've never gone in
not-
anybody's face. You're lying. That is a blatant lie.
I'm telling you what I was told.
Then whoever told you that is
Really?
lying. I've never even. This is the closest I've been to somebody, and that's because you came up to me, ma'am. This is the closest I've been to somebody.
So this person lied when they said you were in there.
Correct. They did
planting
lie.
them and giving them a hard
They did
time.
lie. Yes, they did lie.
Okay, so be it.
They
So
did lie,
you
and that's
go
why.
on-
And that's why I record because
So
people
you
who
can go
lie,
on with your business.
people do lie.
Okay.
The video doesn't lie, ma'am. And I would
You
like to
go
go.
on. Listen.
I would like
just
to.
Go on with it. Go.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Go.
Hey, officer, can I get your name and badge number, please?
My name's Oscar Sager, badge number 145.
Sager 145.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you keep just in their faces and they call me again, it's gonna be a problem.
That sounds like a threat.
No,
And,
I'm telling you, they're gonna keep calling and it's gonna be a problem.
that's not a law that I'm
Okay.
breaking. So go ahead. There's not
That's
gonna,
not
you,
doing-
ma'am.
that's not
You're gonna
doing
have
public
civil.
work.
You're gonna have civil
Just keep
problems.
moving,
You're gonna have
okay?
civil problems, ma'am.
Yeah, just keep moving, okay?
Okay. Just remember,
Okay.
violation of
Move
rights when you
down
know
the
about it,
floor.
you lose your qualified immunity. Okay.
Listen, you don't even know what you're talking about.
I do.
Just get over
I
it.
do.
No, you don't.
I do. Goodbye.
Okay?
Sean was allowed to continue filming as the captain went away. He eventually left the building and was shocked by the captain's behavior in general. Recently, in July 20th, 24, he returned to the building for another audit. And guess who Sean bumped into again during his next audit? You got it, Captain Sutler.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, something I can help you with?
Captain Sutliff.
Excuse me?
Captain Sutliff.
Am I Captain Sutliff? Yes.
Yes. Hi. How are you? My name
Good,
is
how are
Sean.
you?
We met before.
Yeah, what's up?
Hi. I would just wanted to talk to you and see if put out an olive branch with you and see if we can come to a resolution of our interaction last time.
I don't think there's any resolution to be had.
You don't think so? You don't think that you treated me in a way that was unbecoming of a public servant? Spectacle? You're stopping. You don't think so?
I'm not getting into this again because it was.
No, I don't want to. I said an olive branch. I'm not trying to misconstrue anything. I'm just saying,
Okay. All right, well, have a nice day.
do you not think that your behavior?
Have a nice day.
So you think your behavior was acceptable, Captain? Apparently you do. I don't think so. Hey, can I ask you guys a question? You guys work for New York State Courts. There's a courthouse in this building?
Yes, there is.
There's a court. Where is it?
5th floor.
Oh, the 5th floor. Is it like a city court or city court? So Binghamton City Court. In fact, Captain Sutliff is the officer in charge of internal affairs. So she literally investigated herself and found no wrongdoing. That's exactly what happened here. Absolutely ridiculous. So this is the police department, but I don't see any way that it's open to the public. What are the chances that I walk in right when Captain Sutliff was here? Incredible the way the universe works, isn't it?
Sean had no idea he would be bumping into the captain again, and despite him giving her a chance to apologize, she just never did, showing you how big of a tyrant she is. Well, this captain was clueless, but the next officer made a huge mistake in his job.
He grabbed my ID. This cop grabbed my ID out of my car.
In August the 20th, 22, a police officer pulled over a vehicle for alleged speeding. The driver insisted they hadn't exceeded the speed limit. Instead of addressing the claim, the officer began fabricating details about the incident.
Get your ID on you.
Am I being detained?
Yes, right now you are.
For what? What reasonable articulable suspicion you
I
got
told you
that I
to slow
committed a
down.
crime?
You didn't slow down.
You can't. That's not a crime. You can't tell me to slow down when I don't even. I'm driving up there and you told me to slow down.
Hand me your ID.
Reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. Tell me what it
Sir.
is.
Hand me your ID, sir.
Let me get a supervisor.
Hand me your ID, sir.
Supervisor.
Hand me
I'm
your
asking
ID,
you
sir.
for a supervisor.
Hand me your ID, sir.
I'm asking you for a supervisor.
Hand me your ID, sir.
I'm asking you for a
Hand
supervisor,
me your
sir.
ID, sir.
What reasonable articulable suspicion have you got that I committed a crime?
Hand me your ID, sir.
You just said to me, you asked me to slow down and I didn't, and I'm sitting still, sir.
Go ahead. I'm just asking for your ID, sir.
What do you need my ID,
John,
sir?
Just give him your
We didn't do
ID.
anything wrong.
He's not, we're not going to jail for
He's done
anything.
right, but he's done run it. I heard everything come back and they said
That
I'm
was on your
fine.
tag. I didn't.
I'm
check
the
your
owner of the
ID.
car.
I know. I just checking to see who you are.
Right. But you don't have any articulable
I
suspicion
do.
of
I
what's
sit
the
there and
crime
I told
committed.
you to slow down,
How
and
can
you kept
you
on going.
How can you
I
tell
thought
me
you
to
just-
slow down?
It's bizarre how these clueless cops overestimate their authority. He could never instruct him to slow down when he's already over the speed limit. But if this wasn't enough, he proceeded to do something shocking that will leave you fuming.
Well,
you
no,
were just
sitting
saying-
still, sir. How can you,
You
tell
were
me to
not
slow
sitting
down?
still when you went blowing by me.
You weren't up there.
I was standing right
He was
there.
standing right-
This gentleman here told us to
And
pull
then
in
he
here.
stepped out in the road to tell you to stop.
No, he told us to pull in here. He grabbed my ID. This cop grabbed my ID out of my car.
Bro, I mean, you don't have no problems, brother.
No, I ain't got no problems.
Seriously, just text me right now.
Sir, can you have my wallet back to me and I'll take my ID out? You don't need my wallet. It's got money in it.
Now, this is one thing you never expect from a police officer. He didn't just got hold of his wallet without permission, but he actually stole his property. For anyone else, this would be a clear-cut criminal charge, but watch how this pig conveniently avoids accountability.
Comes back to John M. Stewart out of Walling, Tennessee. He has a valid Class Delta, no gun permit, no restrictions, several priors, negative income.
Get your name and badge number, sir.
Badge number's 1212.
And your last name?
Pack.
Pack. You tell me why you reached in my car and grabbed my ID like that?
Because I asked you to hand them to me, and I could have put you in cuffs.
What's your location?
I asked you to slow down. You did not slow down. I had every right to pull you out of this car and detain you when I asked you for your name, and you did not give your name. I asked you for your license. You did not give me your license.
Please explain to me, what do you mean you asked us to slow down?
When I told you to slow down and you did not slow down, you only slowed down when the man stepped out in front of your car. Sir,
and told us to pull in
not.
here. Did he not? And we pulled in here.
Yes, after he stepped in front of your car to keep you from hitting him. So that's the only time you stopped. So I'm not going to tell you that again. I do have a right to detain you.
It's cops like these who deserve to lose their qualified immunity, as they love violating people's rights.
There's nothing.
I do have a right to ask you for your ID.
We were slowing down to come through this intersection.
That
we
is
don't
a
know what's
lawful
going
order.
on. I didn't say it wasn't a lawful order.
I
said
do have a right to ask you for your ID at any time. So whether you want to or not, you do have to comply with that, whether you're recording that or not.
The recording's just for me. That ain't got anything to do with it. We are
that.
slowing down. We come over this hill. We don't know what's going on.
When you came down through there and you saw blue lights right there, and then I tell you to slow down, you did not slow down. You kept on going right past me.
Doing 5 miles an hour.
No, you were not doing
This gentleman come out and slowed us down.
30 miles an hour.
We wasn't doing 30 miles an hour.
Yes. You were doing more than that. You were doing 40. Down through there.
Oh, yeah, until we got stopped. I'm sure we might have been doing 35 or 40, but I wouldn't do no 35 or 40 when we come up to you or that gentleman over there.
Slow down, and you didn't. You went right past me, and then he stepped out in front of me. So, that's the reason why you were being detained. All right, slow down.
Thank you, sir.
Speed limit's 30 miles an hour all the way down through here.
And we weren't going over 30.
Yes, you were. When you came past me, you were.
Let us go.
Believe me, I can tell.
All right.
I do this for a living. All right?
What was your name again, sir?
I told you already. You got it recorded.
Pat? Okay. Are we free to go?
Just a second. As soon as this car goes by.
Hang on, don't back up yet.
Come on.
Surprised they didn't try to get yours because you're a black man out here in this county, you know it? These mother...
This was an open Fourth Amendment violation, and the deputy had no care in the world. John did a great job fighting for his rights, but it's unclear whether he filed a lawsuit, as this incident certainly warranted it. Well, if you think this cop was awful, the next one took things up a notch.
You de-escalate this situation. You need to stay away from me. First, it's 6 feet.
In October 2020, a citizen was trying to practice riding his motorcycle at a public parking lot of a school after hours. He put his backpack down and started riding his bike. However, just moments later, an officer stopped him and started to escalate the situation unnecessarily.
Is that a felony or a misdemeanor?
Listen, we're not going to debate here on camera, okay? You're going to answer my questions, okay? And you're going to provide me your identification.
The officer accused him of littering simply because he dropped his backpack around the corner. It's astonishing how some cops find excuses like these, seemingly just to inflate their egos.
Are you the sergeant?
I am the sergeant.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for de-escalating this.
Okay.
What's your name and badge
Sergeant
number?
Basor. I'm with the Genesee Township Police Department.
Thank you for being professional.
All right. Is this your vehicle?
Hold on. I don't request any searches or seizures of my properity.
It's your bag and you left it
Is it your
there.
bag? Yes or no? Is it your bag? Yes or no?
Yes, it's my bag.
Okay. Why
You
throw
put
it
my
down?
bag down,
Why
dude.
did you throw it down?
I don't have to answer your questions. I'm not illegally obligated to answer your questions, for one. For two,
I don't know who you are yet.
right? I've done nothing wrong, though. Am I legally obligated to answer who I am? Right, but am I legally obligated? I understand that. I come here and I practice riding my motorcycle. I take my bag off and put it right there so I'm not riding with it on me. All I did was pull up, check my tire pressure, put my bag down, and he came up to me asking questions saying I was being detained. That's an illegal detainment.
People that leave bags around, that we're at a school where there's kids at and practicing football, he deemed it suspicious. He doesn't know who you are, so he's checking you out. I know he's asking us some simple questions.
And that's understandable, but suspicion is not a crime.
Okay, if he deems it suspicious, just the same as if somebody was driving a motorcycle in your neighborhood, just hear me out.
Okay, go ahead, I'm
If
sorry.
somebody was driving a motorcycle in your neighborhood and they dropped a bag that was near their home, when you want, or near your home, when you want us to at least check them out?
100%, 100%. Right, but it was the way he did it. It was the way he did it. It was very unprofessional and aggressive.
The sergeant appeared to calm the nerves and de-escalate the situation, but he didn't even correct his officer, who was about to violate some more constitutional rights.
And then, are you going to be professional and identify yourself? You're a member of the public. No, you didn't. What's your name and your badge number? Thank you for being professional.
It is open to the public.
I didn't share it. That you illegally took my information. So he just said that's exactly right.
Because he has a lawful opportunity to do listen, I don't even know who your first name is. If he deems it suspicious and he's checking it out, he can do so, lawfully do so.
Right.
So as it stands,
didn't start out being defensive.
I don't.
Did you forfeit his bag when you sat it over there?
I don't forfeit my bag for sitting it over there.
You drove it away, like I just got done saying. If you left it there and drove away from it, you lose an expectation of privacy for it.
No, that is not correct. You're telling me I can't sit my bag down to practice riding my motorcycle?
But you jumped to a conclusion and went right to the defense. All you gotta do is act like.
No, I'm not legally obligated to tell him anything.
First of all, I don't even know who you are.
You don't have to know who I am.
Okay, if he deemed it suspicious and he's checking it out.
Suspicion is not a crime.
You're operating a motor vehicle.
No, I'm not. I'm parked. I'm parked.
At the time you were.
I'm parked when he pulled up. I was parked.
Okay. Do you have an identification? Do you have an identification?
I don't answer questions. I'm not answering any questions. That was very unprofessional of him. It was very aggressive. I'm glad you de-escalated. I don't know what he would have done if you didn't de-escalate that.
The individual was doing a fantastic job standing up for his rights, as he managed to stick up to these two corrupt cops who were making a huge mistake defending their actions.
We're good? What do you mean we're good?
You want something else done?
Yeah, your card. I want your card. I want your card. I want your card.
I'll make sure you get it.
I got it right here.
Thank you.
I'll give it to him. You told you he was Officer Stachy.
Right, but that's ridiculous. He's a member of the public.
He's doing his job. I'll give you his name.
That was understanding, me understanding.
I'm sure, again, in the same circumstances, if it was at your home, you would want us to check that person out and ensure that that's who they are.
Understandable.
You do have a legal obligation to know. We need to know who you are. Okay, if you say no, I'm not telling you who I am, and we're investigating something that we deem to be suspicious, now you're obstructing.
If I'm being detained for a crime.
Yeah.
He detained me. I didn't do no crime. He legally detained me. I didn't do any crime here.
Okay, detaining is different from an arrest.
Yeah, but you have to detain me for something I've done illegally.
To ensure that something isn't going on, and he's done so in enough fashion. Okay, he's done so in enough fashion to determine that there isn't a crime present. Right?
You're cops-plaining me right now. You're cops-plaining me. All I did was pull up here, and I was gonna practice riding my motorcycle. He pulled up, asked me a bunch of questions. I was like, okay, what is there a reason why you're asking all these questions? Okay. And then he got all like ego out of control and started saying I was detained and this and that, and like all I was doing is asking him why I'm being questioned for illegal activity. I'm doing nothing illegal. And then he illegally searched my bag like I'm doing something wrong. I understand that, yes.
Once you leave something there, he's checking out to make sure there's any weapons, especially with school shootings, with everything else that's going on in this crazy world, he's ensuring that we're keeping our kids safe here. And if you have an issue with that, then you really need to think about
I
what
do
you're
not
asking.
have an issue for that.
Okay?
One has to wonder what law class this sergeant attended, as he clearly seems unaware of the U.S. Constitution and the laws governing detainment and arrests.
When my boss approaches me sometimes, I don't like the way he does it, but you know what? He does it, and I listen to him, I respect it. So all we're asking is that we get the respect that he came here to check something out that he deems suspicious, right? And in doing so, he found that everything was fine, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so are we done?
We're done, but
Did he do his job?
I mean, I feel like my rights were violated.
Okay, if he deemed it suspicious and he detained you for a time until he could deem it, it wasn't suspicious.
You can't detain someone without a crime, though.
No.
Suspicion is not a crime.
There's a difference. A simple detainment is separate from an arrest. Are you in handcuffs?
Well, you could.
Are you in handcuffs?
No, sir. But
have you been told you've been placed under arrest?
No, sir.
Okay, so all he's doing is talking with you to deem whether or not something was suspicious. And yes, at a school, after hours, when there's no other people around and you leave a bag around, yeah, that can be certainly deemed suspicious.
Who do I speak to about this as far as like
You're talking to me.
all right, and you're saying that my rights weren't violated at all
No,
in
if
any
he
way?
checked it out, if you weren't sitting in the back of his car and this is a personal contact, okay, and he wants to know who you are, he could have went down the road of obstruction, but he didn't.
That's a secondary charge. Obstruction. You have to have a
You haven't been charged with anything yet.
right. So how can he charge me with obstruction?
Because we don't know who you are. Right now, as we stand, I still don't know who you are.
It's I don't have to identify unless I've committed a crime.
Okay. That's not true.
That's 100% true.
It's absurd when these pigs just don't accept their mistake. It's clear as daylight that this guy's rights were violated, as he was illegally detained and searched. Yet the supervisor thinks everything was justified.
Okay, he deemed it suspicious.
A Terry stop doesn't mean I have to give away my rights. That's just a frisk. That's just
Did he frisk you?
That's
He pat you down?
right. That's a Terry stop.
It is a person-to-person contact.
Right. It's consensual. I don't have to tell you who I am unless I've committed a
He
crime.
hasn't done anything wrong, and neither have you. And we're gonna leave it at that.
He
Am I
took
right?
he illegally searched my bag and took my ID, and he
explained
ID'd
this to
me.
you.
I have a right to privacy as a private citizen.
When you leave it in a parking lot and walk away from it and drive away from it, like he said you did.
But I didn't do that.
Okay, but that's what he's saying. I can only go based on what he said. I don't know what was here because I wasn't here. But he said you left it be. You
The
said you let
bag's
it be.
right there, and I'm right here. That questioned me with my bag sitting right there.
How am I supposed to know everything that was going on when I'm pulling up to the scene, not knowing exactly what's taking place? How am I supposed to know that?
Well, you know that I'm right here still, so I didn't pull away from the bag.
Okay, I don't even know where the bag was at.
It's sitting
Yeah,
right
quite
there.
honestly. Okay.
You watched him go over there and grab it. Come on, man. Come on.
So you leave a bag around. I just got done explaining to you.
I'm just saying, if you're saying this is 100% legal, what just happened here, you're saying this is 100%
I don't-
legal?
If you have anything else you want to talk to my lieutenant about, or you want to talk to the chief about it, be my guest.
All right.
What he did is trying to keep the kids safe, and I'm sure you can respect that.
I can respect that
And he's talking to you
100%,
about it.
but not
Nobody
my
got detained as far as being put in handcuffs, being put in a car.
No, he detained
You're
me.
out here. All right, I'm sorry.
Did he, so
this is
am
a
I
stop.
still being detained right now? Because
Not
he
at all.
left
You're
with,
talking to me, and you still have me on camera.
but he's the
We're
one
having a
that,
discussion.
but he's the one that detained me, and he took off without saying I was not detained, being detained anymore.
He said we're done.
So I'm not being detained right now.
Nobody said you're being detained right now. You can walk away if you want to.
Well, he's detained me. Is what he said. He said I was being detained.
At that point, you said you were detained, but you still weren't in handcuffs. You weren't putting anything. He was just trying to figure out what was going on.
Right, but I was being detained for.
We need to explain to you.
Eventually, the sergeant also left as the individual got both of the cop's business card. It's unclear whether he filed a complaint, but he could easily pursue a lawsuit and win, given the clear violations of his right. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today, we witnessed cases where incompetent police officers failed to do their jobs. It's disheartening to see these highly paid individuals lack basic knowledge of laws and the Constitution, leading to rights violations and intimidation of ordinary citizens. We hope these officers are held accountable and face the consequences they deserve. If you agree with me, please consider showing your support by liking this video, and also make sure to subscribe to stay informed about future cases like these. Also, if you enjoyed this video, check out the next video here.